Hey guys, welcome back. So guess what? I have finally got the 37-inch tires on. I feel like it's the right size for this platform. There's no rubbing with the 3-inch icon lift. It's completely riding great, and I feel like it looks great. Now the problem is I have 37-inch tires to air down and air back up on trail. With the previous compressor that I had, 35-inch tires took forever. I wanted to devise a system to air down my tires and air up all at once. When I started thinking through that process, there's a lot of systems out there that let you do that, whether it be Moreflate, EasyFlate, a lot of good companies out there. Myself, I like to make things that I use on trail, so I decided to make my own 4-tire air down system. Now, the advantages of a 4-tire air down system is no matter what size compressor that you have, the Schrader valve is only going to allow like 2.4 CFM into the tire. So you can have a 20 CFM compressor, it's not going to go any faster because of the valve that only allows so much air in. That's where these 4-tire systems work that much better. Then all of a sudden you're taking that 2.4 CFM times 4 because you're doing it at once. Let me show you the system that I made. If you're wanting to make your own system, I can leave those links into the description so you know exactly what I use. Let me grab it real quick. The first thing I ended up using was a 3-way manifold. For 2 connections on the side, and then the one in the center is basically just a digital gauge. And then obviously a shutoff valve. It's nothing complex. It doesn't take any type of degree or training to put together something like that. Use a little soapy water, making sure there's no leaks. That's the manifold. Basically I did this for both sides of the car. One side of the manifolds for the driver's side, one side of the manifolds for the passenger side. So I have 2 of these hoses that run out to tackle 2 tires. With the T system that I put in, it allows the first air chuck to run to the front tire pretty easily, and then I left a little bit of extra slack for the back tire. That way if I have buddies with a F-150 Raptor, I can still help you air down. T system, I did use just some basic clamps to clamp those down, hose clamps, but I actually cut some heat shrink that you'd use for wiring and put it over the clamps just to clean it up a little bit. The little tabs were driving me crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up this 4-tire air system to all 4 tires. That way you can kind of see what it looks like, and then let's air down to about 18 pounds. All right, so let's get that hooked up. So I always hook up to the manifold first before I actually hook up to the tires, obviously, because it'll start leaking out air as soon as I plug this in. It is a closed air chuck, but since the valve's open, it's obviously going to let the air out. There's 2 of the tires. Let me get the other side hooked up. So I have the gauge on right now. It's saying 43 pounds. That's probably, sadly, a little accurate. I just got done driving on it, so I'm sure the tires are pretty warmed up, so the air's expanded quite a bit inside. And it did feel a little bouncy, so when I air back up, I'll probably only air up back to 36 pounds. But for right now, what we're going to do, I'm going to turn that back on, and I'm going to release the valve on this. And again, there's only so much air that is allowed through that Schrader valve on the tires. So the advantage to this is we're going to air down all 4 tires at once, and we'll use the gauge. We'll have to cut the airflow off so that way the gauge reads accurately, but then we're going to go down to about 18 PSI. Okay, so our time, about 4 minutes, and we are at 17.9 pounds. So roughly 4 minutes to take 37 by 12.5 by 17-inch tires down to under 18 PSI. That's a 4 minutes well spent, considering all I have to do is check the gauge. I don't have to waste time with hooking up to each tire or maybe screwing out the Schrader valve like with the ARB tool. A bonus of this system is now that every tire is hooked up to the same outlet, all the tires are now equally pressurized. So when I get into the Bronco, every tire is going to read the same amount of pressure. The air down part is fantastic, but there's also an advantage to airing up because you have the same points. You're not having to take time to hook up to each individual tire, but the real advantage is only if I can find a compressor that can push the CFM rating of each tire at the same time, which brings me to this. Meet the Tozalazz compressor. Everything that, when you order this, everything comes in this handy dandy carrying bag. I would say it's not bomb-proof by any means, but it'll do. It's sturdy enough to hold everything. This is the Tozalazz. It's rated up to 11.65 CFM. Once you get up to like 30 PSI, I think it drops down to like 7 CFM, which is still really strong. One thing, if you're not wanting to use a 4-tire system with the Tozalazz air compressor, they do send in a pretty lengthy 25-foot, really nice rubber hose that you can use to air up your tires one at a time. And it does come with a pretty nice valve that locks on. Tozalazz sent me this because I actually inquired about it. For some of the things I was seeing with this compressor and its performance, I definitely piqued my interest. So they did send me this compressor, so I definitely wanted to try it out. What we're going to do is we're going to see how long it takes to take these 37 by 12.5 by 17-inch tires back up to about 36 PSI. So let's get this thing hooked up and see how it runs. How about that? I put in some hood shocks. Way better than messing with this crazy thing. One of the things I do like about this is that the power hookups are pretty lengthy. I can reach the battery pretty easily. The wire is pretty thick, but the one thing I'm not crazy about, these clamps are a little small. All right, all hooked up. Yeah, I'm not crazy about the size of these clamps, but they will hook up just fine. It doesn't come with an adapter. I had to make this, but it works just fine. So let me hook this up and we'll be right back with you here. The timer is ready. Let's go. There's the time, 5 minutes and 50 seconds. I did stop quite a bit, so you can kind of figure that out. So either way, much faster. Now I guess the big question is, how hot did it get? The hose is a little warm, but let's see if we can find some temperature readings here real quick. Right on the head, about 130 degrees. So I haven't found anything over 150 degrees on that side. About the same thing, about 145. There you have it. That literally was the fastest I've aired down and aired up in one time. I'm actually really impressed with the Tozalazz compressor. It actually felt like it handled it pretty well. I couldn't find any spots that were hotter than maybe 140 degrees, and that's going up from 4 tires just under 18 PSI to right at around 36 PSI. So great test. Very happy with the new device system. We're going to call this one a win. I'll even leave a link to the Tozalazz compressor in the description as well. If you don't care about the big bulky space or not looking for an onboard mounted compressor under your hood, it's a very good option, especially if you have larger tires. Not car tires. You could use a Black & Decker for those. So thanks for watching, and until next time.